Hey, so I want to talk to you today about multitasking, because as women we often get told or highlighted for our ability to multitask, apparently. And there's lots of jokes around about men can't multitask but women can, and it's funny joke, men can't do two things at once. Well, the reality is that none of us can, and we as women have got to stop putting that pressure on us to be able to multitask. It's so inefficient. What's happening is that our brains are actually task switching. So we might look like we're doing multiple tasks at the same time, but nobody's brain can do that. It's really highly inefficient, because what we're doing is focusing on this task, and then we're switching to focus on the next task, and then we're switching, and we're going back and forth and back and forth. Now, not only is that really inefficient, it's actually draining our brain battery, if you like. You can imagine how tiring that's going to get for our brain to go from one to another, to another, to another, to another, back, all day, every day. And this can lead to, I think, brain fog and decision fatigue and just mental fatigue in general. So we've got to stop doing this. We've got to stop trying to do more than one thing at a time. And there's lots of ways that this shows up. So one way that we often talk about that is having multiple tabs open in our brain. And, when you're on a computer or a browser and you've got all of those different tabs open, good God, overwhelming. And it's like that in our brain. We've got all of these open tabs open. So close the tabs. One of the mantras that I quite like to, sorry, just shutting the door because my partner Brett is talking. One of the things when I find myself in this space, and it happens a lot, so don't think, this doesn't happen to me as well. One thing is, I just kind of have a little mantra that I say to myself, which is finish what you started, or, one thing at a time. Either of those two things. Okay, one thing at a time, usually with a degree of impatience on my behalf, to myself, because oh my God, you're doing it again. So one thing at a time, or finish what you started. If you've got something in, this happens oftentimes when you go to respond to somebody's email or to ask them something, and you're like, oh, there's someone's emailed me about that. I'll just quickly do that. I'll just quickly reply to that. And then meanwhile, you've got that tab open there that you haven't finished. So have that as a mantra. Finish what you started, and one thing at a time. One thing that, if you haven't read the book Getting Things Done by David Allen, GTD, it's most commonly kind of shortened to, it's a really good book, and he talks about the fact that our brain is not it's not a filing cabinet. It's not the place where we have to store thoughts. So the best thing to do when you do have a thought is to capture it write it down. And so, I think he carries a little notebook around in his pocket, so it's always available. It doesn't have to be a notebook. Some really good apps on your phone. If you've always got your phone, then maybe you capture it on an app, or a notebook, or your planner, or your diary, or whatever. Capture it down. But then also have a system and dedicated time every day where you look at those things and you decide what to do with them, whether that's, do it straight away. David Allen says if it's 2 minutes or less, then do it straight away. Or it might be schedule it into your calendar to do whenever you've got a block of time to do it in your calendar. Or it could be just to file it, because maybe it's just some information that you don't really need right now, but you kind of just want to have it there. And I use Evernote for things like that. Or maybe you need to delegate it to someone else. So that's a really good book to read in relation to that. Another thing to stop multitasking, turn off all of those little notifications that you're getting. Now, that most commonly, if you're working at your desk, most commonly is going to be those little pop-ups, typically down the right-hand corner of your computer, where emails come in. If you've got your phone connected, then it could be text as well. But also on your phone, or on your watch. I often wear a Samsung Gear watch, which connects to my my phone and tells me when a call's coming in, or a text, or some WhatsApp messages, etc. So turn those off. Again, with the multitasking, there are distractions. It's inefficient. It makes you switch from what you're doing to look at that. But have time when you do check them. So have dedicated time and space where you do actually do that. So all of these distractions that our lives have become so common with, distractions and pings and notifications and thoughts and ideas, they're just so overwhelming and so draining on our brain. And some days I just get to the point where it's just like my brain is just backfiring because there's so much, and times like that I've just got to stop, and I've got to take a break and refocus and think about what is the priority, get really ruthless about where I'm spending my time and what I'm spending my time on, and what is the focus? What is it that is going to move the needle on goals that we're trying to create for ourselves in our lives? And get rid of this notion that we can multitask. We can't. It is task switching, and it is really inefficient. That's it for me. Have an amazing day. See ya.